So, plan of action today is I'm going to try and do a test of the same using the basic, the mid, and the ultra settings. I want to test my NVIDIA 3080 RTX, which has got 10 gigabytes of VRAM. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've just gone and purchased a 79 XTX AMD Hellhound with 24 gigs of VRAM, and I want to see have I wasted money. It's basically I've wasted a lot of money upgrading from a 3080 to a 7900. A lot of people will be screaming at the screen going, "Idiot! You should have bought like a 5080 or 5090." Haha. I wish I had the money to buy a 5080 or 5090. First of all, I wish I could find one. And then yeah, if I had the money, if I had like $6,000 to spend on a 5090, I don't even know whether I'd spend it $6,000 on a graphics card. Seeing that my last car only cost me $4,000, I can't really justify paying $6,000 for a graphics card, which I can't drive around to work or anything. So this is going to be a quick and dirty test of the graphics performance on my existing 3080. I've had it for a few years now, and it's been okay, but as the same, how do I say, as I try to use VR, possibly to explain what I done is the incorrect thing. I had money, so I went and bought a crystal light first of all. I knew, yes, yeah, I hear you, I hear you. You're never going to run a crystal light on 3080. I knew that the crystal light would never run at full whack on the 3080. There's not a hope. And I know even with this 7900, they're not going to run it at full resolution and everything, the crystal light. But I want to see. I've looked at so many videos out there, so many streams and everything. All the streamers going through, you need this, you need like a 4090, you need a 5090. I don't have the money to spend on a 405090. I actually got a fairly good deal on this one. I think it was 12.99 Australian dollars on this card, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too. It could be better if it was half price at 600, but 12.99. Eh. So what I really want to do is run a couple of tests. I think I've looked up where's the hardest place to test your GPU, and what they're coming back is saying either New York or London and have it heavy rain. Seems to be a massive GPU killer. So I'm going to run the same on, I'm going to leave it on the default low, medium, and ultra. I know ultra is going to absolutely, I can imagine it's going to crap itself when I try ultra on this. 3080 is not going to be running the same with the ultra, even if you're, yeah, it's not going to do it. But we'll try the basic ones. I'm not going to get into what other streamers do, customizing this little one, that little thing, up in this, man. You could spend weeks at it trying to get it. So I'm just going to do the basic low, medium, ultra on the 3080. And we're going to fly Robinson R22 round New York a couple of times in low, medium, and ultra on the 3080. Get a sort of baseline of what the FPS and what the graphics card is doing with all these FPS counters I got up on the screen at the moment. One thing I have noticed, like sitting here at the login screen, if you just leave it, it's weird. It's like, see, the FPS has gone to 10. All you experts out there probably look at the graphs and go, yeah, it's gone to 10 because of this. But I can't understand why I'm not doing anything. The GPU is running, it's running like from 20% to 50%. Temperature seems okay. Uh, I don't think I have anything throttled on it or anything like that. I haven't overclocked anything. I'm not getting into overclock and then tweaking a little voltage here and running. No, I'm not doing that, man. I just want to buy the card, put it in, run the card. I don't even want to go and do all the extra things that NVIDIA does and adding in crap in between other things to try and improve. Man, I want a card that you can put in, pay your money, put it in, and it works. I don't want to start adding in all these software AI bloody things trying to improve it. So I don't. I just want a hardware that'll work. So I'm gonna leave everything standard, everything bog standard, default. I haven't added in any New York or anything. I haven't updated. It's all the default same. And we'll run through a couple of test flights and see, record them here and see what the the FPS counters show us. So let's jump in here, and as I say, we're going to use the Robinson R66. Actually, I don't want that variant, do I? We're not going to spray anything around New York, so we're not. Passenger one, yeah. No, we're not going to spray a system around New York. And we'll leave, I don't care, we'll leave it at red. And save that. And let's go and find New York, says he. Do you know your... Oh, that's probably not New York. I wonder if I type NYC, will it go to it? New York City? New York? No, maybe it's New York. New York helipad we want. JFK, New York. I'm not sure. Let's zoom down and see where is it. I think the helipad is down here, isn't it? The Manhattan one? Oh god, this cloud already. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so we'll drop in here and it says it's departure. What time? It's probably nighttime over there. Now I could switch on the face cam and that, but I'm gonna leave it off because I know that it kills the crap out of my OBS or it freezes. Oh, we're nighttime. Let's pick a default daytime thing maybe. Okay, November. Ooh, brightness, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, we're on low, okay? Let me go back and see what the low settings are, just to recap. We're on low settings, under graphics, low end. I'm on 1440, I'm on 2K, I'm not doing 4K, we'll try the 2K. Nope, don't switch it to high end, low end. So these are all, terrain level of detail is down at nothing. Okay, so most of the stuff is turned off or low. So I'm expecting this to be okay. And let's see, what's the plan of action for the flight? Maybe over to, if I record it and we can play it again, over to think, where are we going? Oh God. Think, where are you going? Over to over towards the Statue of Liberty, over that way and back up. We'll see. We'll take off. We'll see. Okay, so we'll put on the recording so we can record where we're going. Minimize this here. Move it out of the way. Got a lot of bars on the thing. Should have tested first of all. Is everything working? Should be. Got controls, okay. Sit back here a bit. So, sitting here on the helipad of New York, on low settings, we're getting 100 FPS. Both the NVIDIA graphics on the left hand side is registering 100, and both of them are matching up. The same graphics viewer on the right hand side is matching up with the left. CPU is running at 85. Again, I haven't tweaked the CPU or GPU, sorry. I haven't overclocked it or anything like that. It's just I plugged it in and left it. So I'm not running any software to overclock it or anything. CPU 35, okay. So we'll take it out, straight out to Statue of Liberty, and maybe up the middle of New York to see. Okay. So you can see you're on low end graphics here when everything is just boxy looking. We're not dropping much FPS here. Do a bit of a tour around the Statue of Liberty, back up towards New York again. Everything's in the green that I can see. And I would have thought so, I'm sure, yeah. It's 3080 is well able to do low end. Interesting to see how much FPS we're dropping. So it's smooth as. And that's expected to be the way it should be. I'd be getting really worried if a 3080 was having difficulty with the same and low end settings. As I say, this is just to give me oversight of if I've done the right thing by buying a 7090, 7900, 7090. I bought a 7090, I bought a 7900. And then I hear a lot of people going, why didn't you buy the 7090 or 9070 or whatever the new ones? I was going, well, they still got 16 gigs of VRam and I wanted 24, and this is the cheapest way right now for me to get 24 gigs of VRAM on the graphics card, because the 9700 XTX has got 24 gigs of VRAM. And I know some people will go, well, the sim is going to correct that, the Sobel is going to correct it, the VRAM is not going to be that important, but I'd rather have it there anyways. But we're doing it, and it'll be interesting to see when I put the card in, run it at the same settings as the 3080, what the 7900, I keep saying 9700, 7900. So as expected, same as running smooth, 100 FPS. We've got boxy New York with no exciting buildings or anything. Do a bit of a fly through here. it's pretty much sitting on 100 FPS. As expected. No crazy dips or anything. So try and keep it low so that we can get as much of these buildings in as we can. As I said, yes, people will be saying, why didn't you go for NVIDIA 50 series or 40? First of all, right now, as of end of June 2025, you cannot get a 4080 here in Australia. I don't think you can get a 4080 anywhere. Simply because people know how good the 4080 is and they're not selling them. So the only options you have is you're definitely not going to get a 4090. The only real options you have is to go for 50 series, and anything like the 5080 or 5090, forget it. The price is ridiculous. Absolutely, for a normal person. The price of a 5090 here, I think, is $6,000 sometimes. So there's no way I don't have $6,000, and there's no way I can justify paying $6,000 for a graphics card. So try and go between the buildings. I think we'll just head up here to Central Park. Maybe take a right and we'll go down back down to the helipad again. So, as expected, this is running smooth as 100 FPS. Pretty much sticking on 100 FPS. Let's take this building here, maybe, or we go to the end. This is the low end settings for 2024. Continue on down here. Yeah, the fidelity of it, it looks okay. I'd say it's 100 FPS. Interesting to see what the mid settings are going to do. As we come to the end here, let's take a right. Down the Hudson. Landed back on the helipad. I wonder over the water, do we get any more FPS? Or it's just, I think that's it. Light stutter there. The VRam is not really, if I'm looking at it correctly in the bottom right, it's not really pushing the VRam all that much. Everything seems to be in the green, as I would expect. On low end settings, I would be getting very worried if we're limited by the main thread. Okay. I would be getting very red on us on the low settings. It's taken us about 22 minutes. Should be. I have a feeling when we go medium, okay, so we're dropping down to 90 FPS. The sim feels fine. Because this is so boring, there's nothing really changing. I may chop these videos up and shorten them or speed them up. As I said, as expected, we're in the high 90s, low 100s FPS on low settings. We're going to go under the bridge, coming up. Under the Brooklyn, is this the Brooklyn Bridge? There's two bridges, isn't there? I'm not sure which one is which. The second one is the Brooklyn Bridge, isn't it? We'll do a fly under. Which one of those? Whoever's in the US will be able to tell me. I think this is the Brooklyn Bridge, isn't it? I think so. We'll come back in here and land without doing ourselves in on the helipad. So that was a quick tour around New York. Slowly on low settings with my 3080 10 gig VRam. Why not to ditch it? Easy. The H is big enough to land. Might be the best landing, but hey, okay. And we're down. Okay, so now what we do is we go and we set the settings to medium graphics. So that's low end we're on. Everything's set to low, something's set to off. Let's switch it up to medium. Left everything else. I do know we have dynamic setting, we'll leave it on. I do know that helps, so now we're up to medium. Let's save that. Resume. Ooh, we've got a bit of a drop, alright. Well, let's settle for a second. Where is my Flight Sim recording? How do we stop this? Oh, did that stop? No? Save it. Now, can we play this and let it take off and do the whole thing for me? I think we can. Okay, so we'll just sit back and let our co-pilot do the flying for us, I take it. Right away we've dropped 10 FPS. Take us away, co-pilot. This is weird sitting there. Okay. Straight away we've dropped. We're on the medium settings. Just let the sim look after everything. We've dropped. We were at 100 FPS. Now we're down in the 80s, high 80s. Let's see. If you're wondering, the left FPS counter is the NVIDIA one, and the right one is of course the counter, the FPS counter from Microsoft Flight Sim itself. Are we going to take off anytime soon? The good thing with this is I can look at the stats on it. GPU VRam is still only 4, not even using 5 gigs. As far as I can see. Are we going anywhere? Are we? Okay. Right, we're off. So, this time, we're running at 80. We've lost 20 FPS. That's setting it from low to medium on the 3080. Now you can see the extra things, boats in, and the buildings are looking better. Things are looking a bit better here. If you look around. We're still in the green on everything. And the GPU is running at 80%. It's 85 frames. So we're in the 80s. So we've dropped 20 FPS from the low end settings to the medium ones. Statue of Liberty is looking slightly better. We have more boats on here. Now when we head back in towards the city, I I'd expect the FPS to drop more. Interesting now to see whether it'll drop as we head in towards the city. As I said, this is all just for my own, what would I call it, my own guide to see whether the 7900 XTX was a good investment, or whether I just paid money for something that I didn't need. I think that the biggest thing I should notice, and I'll have to do a few things in VR, is, as I said, the VR should be more beneficial with the 7900. I would expect as we get in towards the city here, we get more objects, we should be dropping FPS. And I would really expect when we switch it to Ultra, I would expect this to be way down. So it's dropped, yeah, about 20 FPS. It's going back up. It's drop between 10 and 15 FPS. And things are looking a lot better outside. I need to remember when I put the new card in, I need to remember what this. So we're talking 100 on the lowest settings, FPS, and 80. I'd say 80 on the medium. And I'd expect you'd be lucky to get. I don't think we'll get 60 on the Ultra. I honestly don't think we will. I reckon we'll be talking the 30s, 40s, I would think. Could be completely wrong. Just admit this is doing pretty good on medium. What we could do is we could also do, I think they reckon that if you switch the weather up here and do rain and make it bad weather with rain, that'll be an even bigger. So we might do a couple of flights of that and see. So this is, as I say, this is for me to see what, if any, improvement is from the 3080 to the 7900s. And hopefully it helps a few other people out there, because it's not the easiest thing these days to buy graphics cards. I've spent weeks, if not months, looking at different streamers talk about this card and that card, and not only are they talking about the different AMD and NVIDIA ones, but then once you decide what company you want to go with, then there's so many different companies that customize them, add extra fans and different things to get more out of them. As I say, I'm not big into overclocking like some people want. I just want a card that I can buy and put into the machine and just run it and get pretty good performance on it. I'm not expecting 5090 performance out of a 7900. I'll probably expect maybe a 5070 performance maybe out of it. So I could have gone with a 5070, but then I'm only talking 16 gigs of VRAM, and I don't know, I'd just rather have the extra VRAM. Even if it makes no sense and people are going, you don't need 24 gigs of VRam. So this has proven itself to be pretty much 80 FPS through New York on a clear day. I'm just thinking to myself, what could I actually whack it up to that would actually prove to me that the 3080 collapsed when I tried to run it at that settings and the 7900 worked fine. What I might actually do is I'd run it on Ultra and see how much we're dropping. We have more detail in the buildings and everything. And we're getting no stutters or anything. And this is SU2. This isn't SU3 yet. So Sim Update 3 hasn't come out yet as of the 28th of June. So it's SU2 on medium over New York. Most of them are getting, of course, with medium we're getting more detail than the low, and the buildings are not loading in front of us like the low one was. So it seemed to be loading in buildings when we were getting towards them. We got a couple extra things, islands and different things in the Hudson here. And it has stayed pretty much, it's not on the 70s. For some reason this side of New York, the other one did drop a couple FPS, so we're in high 70s. Pretty much you could say average 80 FPS. The other thing I gotta say is when I'm running this, I'm running 4 screens as well. I'm running this 4K TV that is set at 2K. Then I'm running 3 other 28-inch monitors that are set at 10 at just HDMI, not HDMI, high definition 1080p. So I guess if I was running one monitor, the FPS would be better. So I'm running this sim, I'm running OBS, which I know is stealing away some of the FPS as well, and making the card work more, and I'm running the other monitors. Up here. I don't know. I don't know why I'd done that. Weird. I don't know which bridge is which. Which bridge is which when you're coming back down again? I'm looking at the wrong side, am I? I'm looking at... Is that the Manhattan Bridge, is it? And then the Brooklyn Bridge is after it? I think that's the Manhattan Bridge. Great. I don't come from New York, so I don't know which one is which. Yeah, that's the Manhattan Bridge. And then the Brooklyn Bridge, okay. And then we're back down onto Pier 15. Or the helipad. Sorry. Not Pier 15, the helipad. Oh, the cars are underneath the bridge again. Oh, for the love of God. Now, hopefully this will land itself. I hope. So, that has proved that on medium, on an RX 3080 10GB VRam, no overclocking or anything like that, bog standard, around New York, you're getting 80 FPS on medium settings in 2024. Why did this thing not come in? Hello? Landed. Once we land here, I'll just double check the settings again to see, and then we'll switch to Ultra. Wasn't the most graceful landing, but it is down. Here we go. So we'll stop that for now. So that was medium settings. Take a quick look through them. On 1440 2K full screen, and our settings were 50. Ooh, they're low, aren't they? Terrain level of detail is really low. 50 and 50. Everything else is medium to high. Something's been low. Okay, so next test is to switch it to high end. Oh, there's two more settings. I didn't realize it was. Okay, let's see what high end, how that kills it. Confirm that. Oh, yes. Memory is exceeded already. So it's switched it. It's doubled the terrain level of detail. Switched everything else to high. And glass cockpit to medium. But everything else is high. Okay. Straight away I can see there's a nether. That's knocked another 20 FPS. So you're talking 20 FPS. Okay, so let's jump back in here and start our flight again. Can we actually speed up things a bit? Because I was sitting here for a long time before. Nope, back. Up to when are we going to take off? Back there, about there. Okay, so let us take off. Whoa, straight away we're down. Oh, that is taking a massive hit. We're down another 20. This is high setting, where I don't think we're going to even get to the ultra setting. So the VRAM on it has shot up to 6. Is it using 6 or 7? Could be using 6. Well, it's weird because it's saying it's using 6 of 7. Which I suppose could be true because the rest could be being used by PC itself. So out of 10, maybe this sim is only allowed to use 7. Anyways, it's using 5.6. FPS is settled into high 60s. So this is high settings for the sim, using my 3080. This is default New York. It's not any updates or anything. Statue of Liberty is looking way better, as you would expect as we go from low to ultra. That's still doing pretty good. We're still getting 60 FPS. We're getting green on everything. We're not getting limited by the main thread. We're getting a couple of reds coming in. So it's limited by the graphics card. The GPU is limiting us. So I would expect as we get into the city and the detail increases, we should drop more FPS. I must admit that's not bad on high-end settings for New York. It'll be interesting to see when we switch to ultra, will ultra kill it completely. And if it doesn't, what we might actually do is whack up the whole terrain level of detail and see on ultra settings and see what is the killer of the 3080. So we're still running everything in greens here. I must admit, 2024 seems to be a lot better now than 2020 was, because I know when I used to try New York and ultra high in 2020, that would really, you'd be lucky to get 30 FPS here. That actually brings me to thinking maybe I should do a 2020 flies the same. I have a funny feeling that ultra is going to absolutely kill the VRAM. See the VRAM complaining a bit down here. still, we're getting more detail on the buildings, of course, as we go from medium, low, medium, high, ultra. It's doing good. It's staying around the 60 mark. Now, if it is to go on the same as from low to medium to high, we're dropping. Every step up seems to be dropping 20 FPS. So I would take it that ultra is going to be 40 FPS maybe. It looks to be that way. So if we can works that way. I just took a look over OBS and hope that I actually am saying something. That my voice is coming through. I was looking at the mic and I was going, there's nothing coming on the mic. Getting that limited by the main thread. Now we're getting a couple of reds. There we go. We started to get reds now. And it's dropped into the 50s. For some reason again, this side of New York, I don't know why it's harder on the sim. Reds now. The VRam is, I take it this must be limited at 5.6, 5.7. Interesting to see, will it actually use more VRam when we go to Ultra? Objects on the ground. Still at 50. Well, it's gone down to 40 now. Still impressed with it. 3080 is doing pretty good. Things, it looks pretty good out there. Let's say we'll whack up to Ultra and check the Ultra settings and see what does Ultra settings actually entail, and see does that actually eventually kill the 3080 around New York. What setting kills our 3080? Say I'm still impressed with it. So I guess it shows you don't need massive, expensive GPU to actually still get a good good experience in the sim. And possibly if I was doing, because I'm on my own solo, if I was doing a group flight around here with a few others, that possibly would definitely add into the mix as well. Oh, cars are now on top of the bridge. We get cars underneath and we get cars on top. We're getting flying cars there. And we're getting boat cars again underneath the other side. What, man? Why can't they just drive on the bridge? Floating cars. One day the cars will actually be on the bridge. Now we're getting ships grounded. So now we're down in the 40s. Okay. Now we're getting reds. Now it'll be interesting when we switch it to ultra. Is it going to totally crap itself? We're back down. 3, 2, we should, there we go. We're down. So, it's in the reds and in the 50s. My mouse is getting a bit. Let's stop that. Let's have a look at the settings again. We're on the high end of it, which just puts train level of detail to 100, object level of detail to 100. Everything else is high. Okay, so now what will happen when we put this to ultra? Confirm that. Whoa! That dropped significantly. It'll take a little bit for it to. Now we're on 200 object level of detail and train level of detail. Off screen is high. Everything else is ultra. Now, what is this going to be like? Save that. Let's jump back in. Let's get this set up around 137 or something it was. It'll need to settle a bit. Okay. Ultra settings on the RTX 3080, 10 gigs of VRAM. Oh, the VRAM is, oh, it is still, things have gone red. It's still in the 30s. The VRAM is now shot up to 8.1. So the ultra setting is grabbing as much VRAM as it can. We're still in 30 FPS and it's still flying okay. Interesting, I'm impressed. It's running at ultra settings on the 3080. Yes, it's grabbing all the VRAM it can get its hands on. And we're getting 40 FPS. Limit of my main thread. That's been constant. detail has really improved now. One thing I didn't do is I didn't go outside to see whether that makes any difference. I just sat inside the cockpit and let it. But then we just want to test them all against each other the same. Will it decrease when we get to the city with all the objects? Or will we? It has shot up to 50 at 46. It's in the high 40s. FPS, or not FPS. VRAM is 8.3. It has grabbing as much VRAM as it can. What is the GPU run at? I didn't even look at that before. We're running at 89. We're running nearly at 100% GPU. 59 degrees Celsius, not bad. I didn't actually look at those at all, the wattage on it. It'll be interesting to have a look at those, look back at those wattages and things. I think it's probably good for anybody that is buying a new GPU. Probably just good to record your own. Well, I say it's good. I don't know whether it will be good to record your old one and record your new one and compare the two of them. Might not be good. When I put in the 7900 XTX and run the same flight around New York, I might actually go, crap, why did I spend extra money on it? I'm not getting much increase in anything. The one thing I will of course have is I'll have 2 times more VRAM, 24. I'll have actually more than 2 times. 24 instead of 10. Very interesting to see whether the sim goes thanks very much and starts using even more of that. I haven't noticed any stutters or anything. It's flying smooth as it did when it was on low. One other test, or maybe 2 other tests I might run is I'll max out the level of detail drain, max the 2 of those out and see does it kill the card. We'll set everything to ultra that we can set the highest settings and see what's the card. Still low down here and slow through New York. Still getting decent FPS. As I say, I can see the VRAM is grabbing everything. VRAM's gone, thanks very much, I'll have all of that. With the lack of stutters or the lack of any pauses or anything in the sim. There's been no stage at all where I went, oh, there it's stuttered. It looks like SU2, as we're getting close to SU3, is supposed to even be better. The sim is getting more and more optimized. We may try the test of making it rain, and apparently the rain is hard on GPUs as well. So see whether that'll kill it. Don't ask me why when we take a left down here, why this part of New York is harder on the graphics card than the other parts. Or whether something's not optimized down here or something. Do the same thing here. Drop down to the 20s. Not exactly 20s, but we're down to the low 30s. That VRAM has pretty much settled at 8.4. CPU is pretty much not doing much at all. So it's not. So the limit is the graphics card, because the CPU is running at 30%. So CPU is pretty much idle, doing nothing. So it's limited by the thread, by the graphics card. So now, I don't know whether I'm expecting too much of the 7900, but I would love to see, up in the 60s FPS on Ultra. Am I expecting too much? Just the raw grunt of the card? Am I expecting any issues at all with the VRAM, because it should have a crap load of it, and that. So what we'll do at the end of this one is we'll whack up everything. I'll go into the Ultra and see if we can whack everything up to Ultra. Terrain level of detail is at 200, I think, at the moment. I'll see if we can whack it up to, like, is that going to make any difference? Will it make any difference running at terrain level of detail? I think it's the max 400 or something. I understand a lot of people will be going, this is craziness. Why are we paying so much, all of us, to so much money to hardware to get a sim working? And I guess it comes down to the truth, and I'm making a flipping liar out of myself, that we shouldn't be worried about FPS. Nobody should care about FPS. If you're running at 10 FPS and everything looked perfect, we shouldn't really care about FPS, should we? None of us should ever care about FPS. If the sim was running smooth... Oh, the Ultras put the cars... So the Ultras put the cars on the bridge. Well, nearly on the bridge. So the more you up the level of detail, realise that. So the level of detail is affecting the cars where they are. Right, so as I come in here, of course we're going to drop down. We haven't hit 20s yet. I'm mighty impressed that it stayed in the 30s. I am mighty impressed with that on Ultra. Who would have thought? The 3080, 10 gigs of VRAM, NVIDIA RTX, running the same at Ultra around New York, and we've got 30 FPS. Let's go in and stop that. That is mighty impressive. So now for our next one, our next trick, we're on Ultra. I have the dynamic settings. So Ultra 200. Do we do we try and destroy the card completely on train level of detail? Whacked up to 400. Okay. Off screen. Let's put that on Ultra. Let's put everything on Ultra. Object level of detail. Can't go any higher than 200. Oh, okay. Would that be because frame gen is off? I haven't switched that on. VSync, I never know what that does. Does that mean if I switch that off, can I put that up to more? Nope, I can't. 200. 200 is the max. Ultra, let's put that up to the highest. No, that's off. That's up to the highest. Let's put that back to the highest. Let's put that to, here's the highest. We're on high, we're on everything. We're on maxed. We have maxed everything out. Medium, that's okay, that's Ultra. Nope, that's Ultra. Everything else is Ultra that we can get. That is high as the Ultra part of it. Everything is on Ultra at 1440. And we're still getting 33. Okay, save that. We've maxed everything. Resume. Oh, okay. Oh, I think we've killed it. Let it settle. Let it settle. Let's get this to 130. 137. And play it. Oh, we're down in the 20s. We're on the red. VRAM is absolutely going psycho and demanding more VRAM. It's in the 8s, 9s. It's in red and it is going, I want more VRAM. Let it settle though. My GPU is 99 utilization. Yeah, pretty much 100. So this is us in New York on a NVIDIA 3080 10 gigs VRAM. Everything is maxed out, Ultra. Tray level of detail is 400. The other object is 200. That's everything is maxed. The highest the sim can go, and yet we're still flying. And we're flying smoothly. We're not getting stuck. We're getting the warnings that the GPU is running out of memory. I think the VRAM has throttled itself back to 7. But we're still flying. Flying on the edge, possibly. This is max detail, and we're still flying around New York. So I am absolutely surprised. I guess this will be the test against the new cars, against the new 7900s. Will the FPS on the 7900 be higher? Which I would think it should be. As I said, the VRAM should be no problem on the 79 because it's 24 gigs, so it'll be no problem at all. We won't be getting the maxed out red. We won't be getting any of the VRAM warnings. I would hope not. Here we go, in over ultra detail New York. And we are still getting 30 FPS. I'm actually impressed. I'm truly impressed that we're getting 30 FPS. Okay, maybe we're getting the 20s, but it's all red now, of course, there's no greens. So everything is red. The graphics card is screaming at me going, what in the love of God are you doing? But we're still getting a smooth sim. From what I can remember in 2020, if this was the case in 2020, this would be crapping itself. There would be stutters, you wouldn't be able to fly this at all. I think what I might do after this, rather than going through everything again, I know somebody said that if you put rain on, so to really and truly test it at ultra with the rain, and maybe nighttime, I don't know, is nighttime worse even? We'll try the rain first of all, and finally we might try nighttime and the rain. But I am blown away that this 3080 is able to do this at full ultra, everything maxed out. I'd nearly do a flight around London in full ultra as well to see whether that's worse than New York. Who would have thought it? Full ultra in the sim 2024 on a 3080, 10 gigs of VRAM, down low and slow, it's flying perfect. be tempted to do a test outside it and see. Does that make any difference? The next test will sit outside the helicopter, external view, and see does that make any difference. But I have to say I'm impressed, really impressed with this. Now you can see slight micro stutters if you're just watching the buildings as they fly by. Yeah, slight micro stutter. Coming over here is probably going to be, I don't know what it is over here that kills the FPS so much. Still, high 20s. I have to admit it's impressive. I guess it just shows what Asobo has done on Microsoft to improve the playability, or improve the stream, not the stream, improve the sim, to optimize it. Because if you think, if I'm running this at Ultra on a 3080, anybody in a 40 series or 50 series will have no problems at all. As we come back in here, the detail is 400%. 200%. I did also think maybe I'm not demanding as much when I'm flying down the middle of the river here, because the detail is off to the left and the right. But then having flown up the center of it was pretty much the same FPS. So unless they've optimized New York a lot better than they used to, with how well the sim is running. Ultra. I can remember a time in my 3080, definitely in 2020, you could not push it past high. I did like, and it leads me to believe, why spend all that time tweaking this little thing? Switching that little button, switching this little button. I just want to set it to Ultra and fly it. are flying again. I think what we'll do next is don't know whether it's a waste of time, but whether we'll go outside and just run the whole flight from outside and see does that at ultra see does that kill it. See, will that kill my 3080 at ultra outside? As I said, the VRam is screaming at 8.5 gigs of 10. And as we all know, the sim's not getting the full 10, so very good. That is brilliant. At ultra. At everything ultra. Let's stop there for a sec. Let's check our settings. We are on custom because we have gone ultra and we have switched train level of detail up to 400, everything else up to ultra, object level of detail up to 200, which is the max. I can't get it any higher. Nope. So let's do our resume from, let's go here, 137, 38. Let's go outside. Let's see, what do we get? Outside hasn't done any different. Outside, swinging around smooth as. Again, we're on ultra. Everything ultra. Train level of detail 400. Object level of detail 200 maxed. And this sim is flying at 30 FPS. Okay, we're probably getting tearing and different things on it. Some of this tearing, I never understand. It's probably that, like that's huh? Who would have guessed? Ultra, and it is butter smooth. Okay, that's it. GPU is gone. Yeah, you might think it's butter smooth, you dickhead. You're not giving me enough VRAMs here, not. We'll do one more after this. Sort of combination over outside. Combination of inside outside with rain on. Yeah, there you go. The sim's not happy with in the 20s. We still haven't killed it. Still haven't got it. The GPU is now at 90. great. It'd be interesting to see what the stats of the 7900. Now you can see, I guess what you would call micro stutters. Yeah, you see it. It's not running smooth. So being outside and we're down at 15, yeah. I think we finally killed it. Yeah, it's now. I think we know the way to kill a 3080 is to whack up everything to ultra, 400 level of terrain, 200 level of detail, everything else ultra, go outside, fly around New York, and that is now not butter smooth. It is finally brought it down to the 15 mid-teens in FPS. I think anything below 20 FPS is definitely not. Although funny enough, the VRam has come back to 7.9. That has definitely done it in. Again, we'll run this test on the 7900 as well and see what it runs at. I would hope it's not. I would definitely hope it's not running in the low teens. I'm sure there's not a lot of people out there at this fair. This is more probably from my record. I don't think there's anyone going to be watching this for an hour and a half, like I was. But this was just to see what the max for the 3080 was. And we have maxed it out outside at full ultra everything, 400 level of terrain, level of detail 200. I think we have definitely maxed our card. Is crying out. Do we even bother trying to do it in the rain? See, do we absolutely kill it? Will the actual rain make any difference? And another test, but I don't know, can I do another hour and a half testing of this in the dark, whether the dark would make any difference? Definitely that has pretty much maxed her out. said, what I really want is I want a card. It doesn't have to be the top of the range. It doesn't have to be the 90, 50, 90, 50, 80s, 6,000 and $3,000 cards. I just want a card that will allow me to fly without having to worry about tweaking this, tweaking that, turn this off, turn that on. But one thing I didn't do is I didn't do the frame gen. This is pure NVIDIA grunt. Pure 38 grunt, nothing else. No added in frames, all that crap. I don't know whether I'd actually even just with the crack of it, I might actually do it on the ultraset. Let's see, what does it do? But I'm more of a person that would rather the full grunt of the card to do its job and actually give me graphics and give me the smoothness of the sim than relying on software added in frames, fake frames added in. You can see with this maxed out and the card under severe pressure, things are loading in. We'll do one more test inside and raining. See, does that make any difference? And then maybe, I'm not 100% sure, I might do where I turn on the frame gen and see. I guess a good test would be turn on the frame gen on this one outside and see does it improve the FPS. Yeah, you really couldn't fly it like this 15 FPS. It's really just not smooth. Oh yeah, the car's gone back down the water again. 8.7 VRam is taken. This wouldn't really be something that you could fly around at 15. Now let's get it to rain. See, will the rain from the outside completely break it? Let's get this landed down here. She is not smooth now. Not at 16 FPS, she's not. Okay, we're down. Stop it there for a sec. Alright, so let's see, can we turn the rain on, bring the rain. The precipitation. Do we have rain? Okay. lightning storm. And it hasn't really done anything. We don't need 3D thermals. We want to see what. Rain for inside. It's dropped another couple of FPS. I wonder what weather actually. Has that killed it? No. Now it's well, we have a storm. We definitely have a storm coming up, but is it worth that? And perhaps change the time of day to night time? Do we think? To real time? If anything, that's helped the FPS. Okay, let's fly it in the storm and see if that break it. This will be the last test here, I think. Let's go. Thought that a storm. Funny enough, the night actually. The night has helped with the FPS. It hasn't helped with the VRam, it's still 8. Lots of lightning. I don't see much rain though. Funny enough, no. Okay, night time. Inside. The FPS on it. Precipitation should be max, shouldn't it? Lots of lightning. Weird sort of lightning. It's not coming from the sky, it's coming from. It's like somebody in the ground has flashlight or something. But no 4K, so with a 4K would absolutely kill it. This is a 2K 1440. Let's admit that looks good though. Lightning's a bit screwed up. There's more lightning coming more lightning coming from the river than there is from the sky. I guess what this proves is that NVIDIA RTX 3080 10GB VRam, although it's not ideal for the sim, it will run it. May not get the highest FPS, but we're still getting pretty good smooth flying. 1440. I haven't tried it in 4K, so maybe 4K might break it completely, but 1440. Now the problem is now that I mentioned 4K, I'm thinking to myself, should I test it on 4K? Should I do the Ultra on 4K during the day and do one more flight on that? See, when we switch to 4K, does it absolutely just demolish the 3080? We might just do that. We might just switch. It might even get off the ground. We'll do that. We'll do that one last test. We'll switch to 4K during the daytime, 8 o'clock, the same time we took the other ones, and see do we even get off the ground, or does the FPS just totally flat out kill itself. Again, all of this is just for myself to test it against the new 7900 AMD XTX that I got, 24 gigs of VRam, to see whether I can't do any worse. I think that's probably the graphics card can't be any worse than the 38. Because if it is, I've just wasted $1,200 on it. This is where New York comes into itself at night time. What's this going on? This is going on nearly 2 hours of a test. I'm mighty impressed with this card. It's not gone above 60 Celsius temperature wise. It's been running in the 90s, 99% utilization. Oh, this is bright. Come on in. Ooh, this is ultra bright. This is really bright coming in. And we have touchdown. Okay. Let's drop it there for a second. Weather back, real time. I'm going to switch it back to brightness. Not sure if we had real weather on the other ones or not. 8 o'clock, do we have real weather? Real weather is nice. Nope, spoke too soon. Let's jump inside. I reckon if we put this on, we change the setting to this to 4K, I reckon we will kill it. We will kill the 3080. Oh, she's gone shot to 9. Did I see 9.2 VRam? Let's just do this. Keep changes. Okay. It's down in 12. Oh, that's stuttering. I don't think we're going to get much. Seven, 8. Let it settle. We'll do real weather and 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's take off there. It's taken off. We're down at 14 FPS. We are at 9.4 VRam. That is definitely crying out now. But amazingly enough, it's flying. And I'm trying to see, can I see stutters? It's weirdly smooth enough. We're going back up to the 20s again. So this is 4K, ultra, everything maxed out that can be maxed out. The VRAM is at 9.1 of 10 gigs. So it's not going to find any more VRAM anywhere. We have rain, I think, as well, have we? We have rain. And we're still managing to get 20 FPS. Cards shot up a little bit, still hasn't gone over 60 degrees. 99 utilization of the card. This is so the weather in New York must be bad today or tonight. This is the ultimate test of the 3080 10 gigs VRAM over New York with bad weather, ultra settings on everything is maxed out the same, and still I must say I'm surprised that it's flying, I would say, smooth. It's still flying smoothly. And still looks good. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. Yes, we're down in the teens for the FPS. High teens. And if you look out, sort of look at the buildings, you can see it is not as smooth as it should be. But still, I didn't actually think this would work. I didn't think this card would do this. I'm really surprised. This 3080 can do this. And I can only think this because they've optimized it so well in SU2. So if SU2 is good, what's SU3 going to be like when they bring it out? Like, okay, I have just done one flight and I've just repeated it over and over again. Even looking at the Empire State Building, street between the buildings. So the graphics are looking good. I don't think this helicopter has wipers. But I'm mighty impressed that we have maxed it out to 4K. And we're still able to fly it. Yes, it's on auto repeat of all the last flight I've done multiple times, but how good does that look? How good does that sim? This is the thing with 2024. How good does the sim look? Every now and again you just sit and look at it and go, how good does this flight sim look? So I think at the end of this, we'll wrap up this test in New York of the 3080. Give us a baseline for our 7900s. I was thinking, do I do London? But am I going to spend another 2 hours flying around multiple settings in London? I think we've proved what we wanted to prove here, that the 3080 will handle the same Ad Ultra in 4K. So why have I bought another graphics card, you're asking? If I've worked out that mainly because VR. I know I haven't even tested anything in VR really. I gave up on VR because I have the Pimax Lite. I bought it knowing that my 3080 was never, would just about run it at the lowest setting. 2020, it's okay. Don't get me wrong, I had a HP Reva before this. Crystal light blows that out of the water. Even sitting in the cockpit looking at the helicopter, the display, as you can see, everything perfect. But it's just 2020 out of Brabant was fine. It's sort of weirdly, it was smooth, but you could still, it was like this. Like if you look out the window here, you can know that you're at 17 FPS. Because the buildings are, even though it's not like crazy bad, still you can see your eye is telling you that's just slower than it should be. And I think the VR was the same. VR was smooth, with no stutters on it. This is at the low setting on the 3080, but it just, your eye is sort of telling you, your brain is telling you, okay, it's just slightly out of what it should be smoothness. But having said that, this, anybody that's wondering, that has 20 series cards, 30, you don't need to go and to the 40 to 50 series to enjoy the sim. You can get a good second-hand 30 series card, definitely a 3090. If anything, I've proved the 3080 can do it. This is a 3080 low 10 gig VRam. I know you can get 3080s with higher VRAM 16 gig, which is I would advise advise you to buy. And definitely 3090 with 24, I think it is, VRam. I know that Brett plays as that, and that runs perfectly well. But even looking at the left hand side here along, you can see all the detail. That's what you want in the sim. You don't want the sim and a graphics card unable to handle it, that you have to switch everything down and you don't get all the detail. This is at 400, everything is maxed. 400 level of detail, or terrain level of detail, and 200 object level of detail, maxed out. So you can see, here on the left, right hand side, we see all the detail of the buildings. That's what you want. And what I'm hoping we'll see is that when I put in the 7900, that I will be able to run at this level of detail, and the FPS will be high enough that everything will run. I don't want to do tweaking and all that. I want it just to run. I want to be able to jump into the sim anytime and fly around and get everything ultra smooth, and then we can forget about it and just fly and enjoy the sim. But as we come in here at maxed out everything in the sim, this is what the sim should look like. With the FPS should be higher, but this is what the sim should look like for everybody. And I think I can see OBS on the corner of my eye. I just seen a stutter there, so if there is stutters, which there is now, that is not the sim. Okay, so we'll pause that, stop it. Come on, recording, where are you gone? Stop that. So as I say, if there was stutters, I just looked out the corner of my eye on the OBS. If there was stutters, and if it looked really, really bad, the sim that I'm looking at on the 4K screen was not like that. So OBS may have been having issues with, yeah, I can see the FPS in OBS. So the problem with now with my recordings is that they're not going to give you the true detail of what I was looking at on the sim. The sim, even when it got down to 15 FPS, was still running smooth enough that you could fly it. Yes, the buildings were slightly off when you're passing by them, that you could go, yes, beginning to slow down. I see my OBS has gone back up to 30 FPS now. This also is why I wanted to get the 7900 XTX, is because running the sim and running OBS, and any streamer out there will tell you this, is try to run the two of them on the same card. I know that Brett plays as two cards. He runs his 3090 runs the same, and the Intel Arc runs his streaming. So he's got two cards. So that me trying to run one card, the 3080, to run the sim, run OBS and two of the screens along with that, means every now and again I can see OBS is going, crap man, I'm only running 4 FPS out of 30. I can't do this. Do I switch this back? I bet you. Switch this back to 1440. So that was 4K. 1440. 20 by, what was it? No, 2 was that. Keep changes. I can see my OBS is shot back up to 30 FPS again. So possibly that last flight in 4K looked even worse than what I'm looking at it. So I think for now, that's been over 2 hours, 15 minutes of testing around New York. And the results of that, I must say, I am really impressed with my 3080 with only 10 gigs of VRAM. Right now you can see it's even sitting at 8 gigs. It's using the 8 gigs of the 10 gigs. The last one, it was up at 9.2 gigs of VRAM, which is max, and it was maxing the hell out of everything. But that was ultra, and it'll be interesting because I'll run the same flight with the 7900 and see at the top maxed out on 4K, what are we getting? Are we getting a reasonable FPS that we could fly around with that all the time without this GPU excess thing coming up? And is my OBS happy enough to sit at 30 FPS recording while I'm streaming in 4K maxed out with everything? So hopefully this might have helped somebody out there that's in the same boat as I am, deciding, do I upgrade my GPU? Do I wait? Even though I don't know what. When people say wait, don't upgrade your GPU yet, I don't know what we're waiting for. Because I know that NVIDIA has just crapped on all us gamers and gone, I don't give a crap about you guys. We're making billions on AI. We're concentrating on AI. We'll give you a couple of cards to keep you happy at ridiculous prices. If you're mad enough to pay $6,000 for a 5090 or 2,500 for a 5080 here in Australia, good luck to you. Go buy it. If you have that money, I'm delighted. I just don't have that money, and I just cannot reconcile paying that much money for a GPU. When I said my last car that I had cost me 4,000. So I can't reconcile a $4,000 car against a $6,000 GPU. I cannot reconcile the money. It just it yeah, I just can't do it. Why I went for the next best thing, which I think a lot of you out there might disagree and go, nah, it's nowhere near you. It's nowhere near 5090. Of course, it's nowhere near 5090, but the next best thing I can think is the 7900 XTX that was at $1,200 compared to a 5090 at $6,000. I couldn't reconcile paying that much for it. And yes, the 5090 looks brilliant on Murph's two-tone Murphy's streams. It looks absolutely amazing. Like I said to him the other day, I commented in a stream that his stream now with a 5090 is as close to looking at videos of real life pilots landing planes. Like, it was his cockpit looks as real, as close to reality as I can see a real plane. But for now, we'll leave it at that. And if you have anything you want to ask me or that, just drop in the comment and I'll get back to you. But we will rerun this test when I get the 7900 installed, probably tomorrow maybe, and see, have I blown $1,200? something that hasn't really improved things all that much. I don't think I have. I think it'll improve it. I think it'll allow me to fly the sim like I want to fly it. But for now, if you got this far, I don't think there's many people that would have watched this far. But if you have, congratulations for watching this. And we will chat to you all later. Bye.